public session. Good afternoon, everyone. Jack Bradham here. Today we're going to do a webinar that we like to call "Okay Google, Tell Me How." And these webinars are specifically designed for the times that we live in, the times that we're all working through, and try to sort of resolve an immediate need for our customers and help our customers sort of work through the recovery that we're going to all need to make. Today's going to be centered around a couple technologies that help you use bots in your customer service, whether that be in chat or in telephony responders, to sort of handle supply and demand issues when calls go way up, or maybe when your supply of agents or workers goes down. Just a few housekeeping items before we sort of get started. Please mute yourself so that we don't hear all the background noise. We're using Google Meet, and that means that everyone can sort of talk, but that also means that we can also hear everyone. So please just be mindful and mute yourself when you're not speaking. Questions. We'll take all the questions at the end of the event. There is a chat function that you can use as a part of Meet. You can go ahead and use that chat function essentially anytime, but most likely we're going to take all questions at the end from myself and my other presenters today. At the end of the session, we are going to send out a survey, so it's an email that'll come to you. We're trying very diligently to solve the customer's problems that you bring up. So the problems that are important to you, we want to hear about them. We want to know what's not only good about the session we did or how we could be better about the session today, but what future sessions you would like to see and how they can be just more relevant to you in solving the issues that you're working through. Before we get started, I'll just take a second to introduce myself. I am Jack Bradham. I am a customer engineer based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I focus on the Google Cloud platform and essentially many of the technologies that contribute to that platform. I also have as our primary presenter today, Michael Hawk. Michael, would you like to do a quick introduction for yourself?
Sure. So my name is Michael Hoke. I'm on the tech partner team at Google Cloud, and I manage the relationship with some of our contact center AI partners.
Fantastic. So we'll kick it off here relatively quickly. We won't beat around the bush too much. We're going to talk about rapid response virtual agents. How do you get these bots and agents up very quickly? I'll do a demo, and then we'll show you some great ways that we're going to help you out as Google as much as we possibly can and get you started quickly. And there's some time for Q&A. So Michael, I'll just go ahead and invite you to start presenting here. We'll start you off.
Great, thanks. So if you can go to the next slide. So Contact Center AI, this is a Google Cloud product set that we brought to market starting it went fully GA in November of 2019, but it's built on technologies that Google has been selling and using itself for the last between 5 and 15 years. So the technologies are very robust, very proven, and are quite scalable. We've got many enterprise customers using the underlying technologies. We brought them together to help the contact center in a few key areas. So one of them is customer satisfaction. We want to help contact center providers, help desks, even marketing organizations help improve the satisfaction of their customers by getting them better information, by helping them get that information faster, and help them to resolve their problems more completely. The second metric that we look at is operational efficiency, and there's two parts to that. One part of it is an agent's average handling time, or the average call length for when a customer is talking to a call center. How long does it take for them to get their problem resolved and move on with their day? The average handling time is one of the core metrics within a call center, and it also relates directly to cost because people, the ones doing the calls, are the most costly part of a call center. The other part of operational efficiency is by preventing calls from getting to an agent in the first place by using automation. And in the contact center AI space, we talk about that in the case of virtual agents. The bots that Jack is going to show you how to build, both chat bots and voice bots, are a key part of working on the contact center and the metrics that can be impacted by using contact center AI. So next slide. When we think about it, we think about the conversational core as the main component of what drives contact center AI. And this conversational core feeds the three components: one, virtual agents; second, agent assist; and third, insights, which is our analytics platform. If you can go to the next slide, please. The conversational core uses those technologies that I just mentioned, the core technologies that Google has built and have been using for many years now. So first, how do you understand what someone is saying? That's speech to text, our speech to text API. That can understand over 180 different languages. It's very, very accurate. It's used in things like YouTube. And in fact, here on this Google Meet presentation, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you can do turn on captions. That's using our speech to text, and you'll be able to see how good it is, how accurate it is, and how fast it is if you want to turn it on now. The next is, how do you talk back? So when you've got an answer you want to give to someone, the text to speech API, and we have over 100 voices there that we can also speak in. And then the third one is, how do we interact? Dialogflow. So when you have an interaction, when you take someone's speech, translate it into text, how do you understand what that person means? You see a version of this in Google search. When you type in, what is the weather today in North Carolina? That's using a version of natural language understanding to interpret what you mean and then match that up with appropriate answers. The platform that we use in the contact center space is Dialogflow, and this is the core of Jack's presentation, so I'm not going to go into too much more about that. If you can go to the next slide. We bring those technologies together into three main areas. There's the virtual agents, chatbots and voice bots that uses speech to text, text to speech, and Dialogflow. And then we also have Agent Assist. You're not going to see that today, but Agent Assist is a turn-by-turn transcription service that gives live agents the ability to see in real time what is being said. It also uses Google Search and some of our other document APIs to surface FAQs and other knowledge articles to agents while they're working, giving them turn-by-turn guidance as the conversation goes on. And the last area is insights. We record all of that information. The customer can choose then to use that information to do analytics, call center effectiveness, agent effectiveness, training paths. You can even get into product analysis and customer journeys. There's a lot more we can go into about contact center AI, but why don't we go to the last slide in this section and talk about why is Google special or different. There are a lot of these capabilities out there today. What Google does is we have a human-like capability on our conversation. So when you talk to Google, you've experienced this probably at home or perhaps on your Google Assistant on your mobile phone. It's a very human-like interaction. You can speak as you speak, and then you get a very natural sounding response. You don't have to train yourself to talk like a robot in order to get an answer. Next, we've got a very flexible platform, Dialogflow, that you'll hear about here, that allows virtual agents to take many turns and twists and be able to respond to different types of questions without having to follow a prescribed hierarchy. Then we've got a lot of auto-tuning built in. We'll show you maybe a little bit here, but that's something that if you're interested, we should go into more. There's a lot of special sauce around Google's artificial intelligence built in. And then lastly, that ability to connect context to conversation with articles in real time for agents. And with that, I'll hand it over to Jack so he can give you the demo. Oh, I have one more comment. Sorry, I forgot about this one. We do contact center AI with our telephony partners, the contact center partners you see here. These are the folks who have powered contact centers for many years. You likely work with one or many of them in your contact center today. Google delivers contact center AI with these partners and through these partners. So we can meet you where you are today with your technology stack, working with your vendors that you have today, and bring this intelligence to your contact center. And now I'll hand it off to Jack.
Thanks, Michael. So I'd just like to level set with everybody. one of the key problems that we're really seeing and needing to address these days is that those large number of customer requests that are coming in. And contact center AI is our overall brand for that, and an extensive number of resources that Michael just went over. But it's also important for us to make sure that you have something that's fairly actionable today. So I'm going to demo Dialogflow, which is really the core and the key part of contact center AI that we want you to take away today, knowing that you can sort of use it and make it work for you immediately to solve those problems. And then after my demo, Michael's going to go through some more resources for you to sort of take advantage of really the broader ecosystem of what Google has to offer, and how you sort of grow Dialogflow. I'll tell you right now, the reason I sort of came up with the idea of really thinking and talking to our customers about Dialogflow is actually rooted into something that is very personal to my family, and that is they run a fairly large small business, so it's around 50 people. And when the coronavirus came out, my family's business, which I don't work for, had to send essentially everyone home, and we had to come up with a great way to try to service customers who were calling in and answering or asking questions. So how did we answer those customers? And I'll show you as we go through sort of the demo, but essentially what we were able to do was point our telephony system at Dialogflow and begin to start servicing those customers, even though we had very few agents. But before much ado, keeping that in mind, let's just jump into Dialogflow. So let me just bring up Dialogflow here. So if you've never been to or dealt with Dialogflow at all whatsoever, you access it just by going to dialogflow.cloud.google.com. It's a completely usable right out of the box the way it sits. You will need a Google account to log in, so I'll just grab my Google stuff here to log in. I'm going to use just some account that I made up, Gmail account here. And let me just log in, grab the password. Here we go. Click next. Now, when I first log into the environment may be a little different for you because you're going to see a screen without any agents at all. So that's gonna be a little disconcerting. I have a number of agents. But let's take a little tour here so we understand what I'm talking about. So every Dialogflow sort of instance starts with a thing called an agent, and you can create agents pretty much to your heart's content with the opening source here. So here is a list of the agents that I have. I have a balance agent and I have a COVID agent. We'll talk a little bit more about those if I need them, but here I will go ahead and create a new agent. And this is essentially just like creating a brand new bot. So I'll call this balancer bot. If I could type, right? And I'll try to choose a few parameters for this. I'm going to set his time zone or her time zone. Not quite sure if she's a he or she. I'm going to skip the rest of this. Now, Michael alluded we can build these in hundreds of languages at this point, but I'm just going to stick with English. And I'll go ahead and create that agent balancer bot out. Now, the cool thing about this is I really didn't have to do anything to get started. I didn't have to log into Google Cloud on the GCP side or Cloud Console or anything. I'm just starting out by creating the bot. Now, the second part of this environment that I want to point out is what we call the test area. And the test area is over here. And this is just a really quick way for you to interact with the bot via text. So if I wanted to say hi, I can just type in hi and the bot would try to respond to me. You can see agent here, respond default one more time. Now, the truth is we haven't told it really how to think or how to respond to us. So if I say something like hello, just by default, it's going to give me a few responses. Those responses come out of things we call intents, and that's sort of where we start working underneath the bot, under intents. So you can see here I have a default failback intent. That's what it does essentially when it doesn't know what to do, and then it has a default welcome intent. And if you guessed that the default welcome intent is what gets executed when I say things like hi, you would be correct. And you can see there's a number of phrases and whatnot that it'll respond to. Intents are a very core part of Dialogflow in our bot creation process. And so I want to kind of dig into that a little bit. The reason we call them intents is because we want to try to figure out what you are intending to do. So it's really the process of figuring that out. So if I said, okay, I need to create a space called an intent to figure out what a customer is saying, the first thing I want to do is give it some training phrases. When you hear the customer or the person on the other side say certain things, we can realize what they're intending to do. So in the balancer bot, I'm just going to say, I need my balance, right? And that's one training phrase. Now, Dialogflow is a machine learning backed model. So it's not only going to take our text and translate that from a voice sometimes, it's also going to try to take different phrases that we're saying and figure out exactly what we mean. So I'm going to say, I need my balance, or what is my account bill, right? And that gives Dialogflow and this intent more statements to kind of figure out what a customer is intending to do. So I'll just add one more. Get my balance, right? And I'll click save. Now, that tells the bot, okay, this is essentially what they're trying to do. When we see phrases like this, right, those training phrases, we know what the customer is trying to do. As a response, though, we need to tell the customer, okay, I got it, and sort of what the next step is. We need to respond. So my basic response would be say, okay, I need your mobile number. We're going to do a little bit of verification. Okay, so I can say, I need your mobile number, or I can respond in a few different ways. I can say, can you verify your phone number? Right? That's a cool way to go. Let's make this a question up here and click save. Now in my test area, right, we'll see that intent is saved. Okay, great. In my test area, I can now say hi, and Dialogflow will say, hey, how can I assist? You can see its little response there. And I'll say, I need my balance, right? Cool. And you can see that it verified our intent. It realized what we were trying to say, even though I don't have that exact wording placed in there. Well, yeah, I do. Can I verify your phone number? Can you verify your phone number? Like, I know a typo there. I'll just fix that. Okay. Save that out. Very quick to fix. Now, what if I just said balance? Would it figure it out? Yes, it would. What if I said bill? Yep, figured that one out. What about cost? I had no idea what that meant. So, you know, I could add cost to my training phrases and would figure that out. But as a result, it sort of dropped back to that default intent of I didn't really understand. So now we have all our intents listed out, and that's beginning to make a lot of sense. So I'm going to follow on to this intent, because if I ask a customer or a person for their phone number, I expect them to give me that phone number. So that's the very next thing that I expect to occur in this intent. So, or in this flow, and I'll say get phone, right? and just say a few phone numbers here, right? Or my number is 704-578-000, and or okay, phone is 828-757 dash. I'm gonna put a weird one in there, 2259, right? 6, just like that. And what you can see is Dialogflow is taking those training phrases and it's also picking out variables inside those training phrases. And you can see it picked out one here that it didn't completely understand. It's picking that out as a number. However, the other one, it's picking out as a phone number, and that's fantastic. So I'm going to delete this one, train it a little better. I think what I'm going to find is I have too many numbers, and I do. So I'll add that one, and then add back the improper one and take off the extra number. Click save, and now you can see all our variables are beginning to line up. Now, once it's got a phone number, it would say, okay, I am going to text your balance. And it's going to say, is that okay? We'll click save. Now, just in the test, I'm going to skip ahead a little and say balance, right? Dialogflow is going to know what that means, and I'll just provide it with a number, 555-789-1212. Okay? And you can see, all right, I figured out what I meant. I'm going to text you a balance. Okay? Yeah, that sounds good. Now, I need to follow up on that intent after I've gotten their phone number. Now, Dialogflow has a couple built-ins already, so things like yes is there. So I'll just add that follow-on intent in this sort of conversation flow. It shouldn't take very long at all. And then I'll go back and I'll also add a no. Now, unfortunately, Dialogflow doesn't really know what you want to do after that. It'll say, okay, what's a good thing to say? But let's just provide some responses. Okay, they said yes, done. I have texted that to you. Okay, so we'll save that. Now, after that, that would be the expected end of this conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that as the end. I'm going to skip no. No would be very similar to just saying, okay, you know, it would continue the conversation flow, but I'll say balance. I'll say I need your telephone number, and I'll say 704-555-888, right? And I'll say great. I'm going to text you and say yes. Okay, done. Now, how would I make fulfillment happen on that? Well, there's a lot of integrations. You could do a number of things to actually make the system text that. How do we make Dialogflow actually do that? One way to do that is to use a fulfillment function. Fulfillment functions can be a number of things. I'm today going to use webhooks. A webhook is actually going to just take a URL that I've provided. So if you have APIs for your company, you can use a webhook to complete fulfillment. So I'll save that. That's just a little webhook that I have that does a text message for me. And I'm going to go back to my intents and say all the way down to the yes. And what I'll do is turn on fulfillment for that particular point in the conversation flow. So let's try it out. I'll say balance. Right, let me just spell it wrong and see if it figures out what I meant. Oh, no, it didn't. Balance. Okay, and I'll just give it a number. Right, and I'll say, great, you okay? Can I text that to you? And I'll say yes. And so for those of you who are watching me on video, I'll just hold up my phone here quickly. When I say yes, I will get response, and a text message, if you can see that. And I sent myself a funny little text message that says your balance is too much. It's just too dang much. Now, that's one way we can sort of get or understand a conversation flow being filled out, and also how we might do some fulfillment. It's important to note that I didn't fill out the fulfillment with all the parameters, but remember the entities that we talked about that Dialogflow is picking out? You can use those entities and pass it through in fulfillment to essentially execute any API that you want with any parameters you want. Now, building intent and conversation flows can get pretty long. So we've tried to do some things inside Dialogflow to make that much easier for you. There are a number of pre-built agents that you can go and select and just integrate directly in. For example, if I wanted a currency converter inside this particular agent, I could just select this one, and now I can get balances inside this agent in any sort of currency that I wanted to, and that's going to automatically add that for me. Now I'm just going to click out of that for the time being. Actually, it's going to force me to go there. I'm going to go back to Balancer Bot, and I'm going to talk about another way to build up your intents and your conversation flows, because as you can see, this is cool, but it's fairly arduous. We don't really have that much time. So what I'm going to do is show you the Knowledge Explorer or Knowledge Base feature, Knowledge Connector feature. The Knowledge Connector feature allows us to take the information that we already have on the internet or in FAQ documents and make it available as intents to the customer. Now, this is a beta feature, so what I'll need to do is go into the settings of the bot and enable that beta feature and click save. Now, beta features at Google are still beta, but they're pretty well baked. By the time we actually put them in the product, they work pretty well. And this is a great way as a company, if you're trying to work quickly right now to be more efficient, we completely understand. This is a great way to get information inside your Dialogflow agents without having to build it yourself. So once agent knowledge bases are built out, I'll name the knowledge base. Now, I didn't build an FAQ for today, but I'm going to use Wikipedia's because they have a pretty good one. So I've created that knowledge base. I'll need to add a document to it. Wikipedia, right? This is a frequently asked question, right? And it's going to come in as HTML, and I'm going to get that from a URL. And while everybody else was sleeping, I went and grabbed that URL. So what Dialogflow is going to do right now to build out this agent for me is go out to Wikipedia and grab that frequently asked questions and sort of begin to build intents on my behalf. And it does that really quickly. Now, if by default it doesn't tell the response, it doesn't give the response, it's just sort of a safety mechanism and also gives you an opportunity to customize your responses. I'm just going to say add response there and sort of keep it legit and leave it alone and say save. And now if I go back to my test area, one of the frequently asked questions might be in Wikipedia, how do I edit a page? And you'll see that Dialogflow has now gone out and pulled the answer from that document. Here's another one, delete a page, right? And you can see it pretty much figures that out really cool and quickly. Now, let's just say we've built out a decent bot or used Knowledge Connector to get some answers in there very quickly. How can we sort of make this usable to our customers that are actually going to be calling and asking these questions? And that's really where we start to turn to integrations. And that's sort of one of the larger parts of today. So If you have, say, agents who need to walk away from the office for a while and you don't have the bandwidth to manage them, you don't have the supply, if you will, one thing you could do is just direct the calls to this agent. Most phone systems, as is the one I talked about with my family, we have a way to just redirect that phone call to a completely different number. And that's where the telephone gateway comes in. Again, another beta feature, but one that works really well. And in this case, what I'll do is I'll just take the bot. I'll say, give me a number somewhere in the United States. This will take just a second to give me a good telephone number, but it's definitely worth the wait. And after I've selected the telephone number, what I'll be able to do is just call that number, and this bot will work very much the same way. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to try to remember this number here. Copy that. Save it so I don't forget it. And for those of you watching me on video, I'm going to go ahead and call it. So that was on my phone here, 512-489-6301. And I'll click call. Now I'm going to put this on speaker. Hope the whole world can hear.
Hi, how are you doing?
I need my balance.
Okay, I need your mobile number.
704-578-1111.
Okay, I'm going to text your balance, okay?
Yes. Maybe need some hold music here.
Can you say that again?
Yes.
Done. I have texted to you.
Cool. And for those of you who are really close on video, you can see it did text me that. So what I've done is I've turned that Dialogflow agent that was mainly just text into a true agent that I can call on the phone. So if I just route calls that way, they will reach the bot. One problem there is, and Michael's going to talk about ways around that, is there's sort of no coming back in that model that I just showed you. The customer's going to go to that agent, and that'll sort of be where they live and finish. Now, there's tons of agents, tons of integrations that we have. There's a web demo one that I particularly like. This gives you a way to embed your agent directly in your website. Here's the iframe code to do that. I can open that agent up, and you can, or that HTML chatbot thing here, so you can see it, and it still works just exactly the same way it used to. And I'll still get text and etc. Works just fine. That's another way to use that exact same code base to integrate. Now, again, there's many ways that in many other integrations that you can sort of stick in and utilize. One thing that I did want to point out, though, before we sort of move on today, is we realize there's a lot of folks who are dealing with COVID-19 and would benefit, frankly, from some standardized intents and a bot that really works out for them. So one of the things that we have done here at Google is open sourced a template for COVID-19. David's going to talk a little bit, Michael's going to talk a little bit more about that. But I'm just going to show you how to get access to that. So I'm going to create a new agent, and I'll just call it COVID-19B, right? I'll set the New York time zone there and say OK to create. Now, the cool thing is if you have access to GitHub, you have access to this open source code for the bot. So we'll have this link inside the slides that we will share with you at the end, but you can come and download this agent, and it's pretty much ready to go. So I've already downloaded it. We'll go back to Dialogflow and show you how to go ahead and bring that zip file in. So I'll just go to COVID-19B settings, export and import. Now, it's not uncommon if you want to save your code, all the intents you've written up or the integrations, etc., for you to export. But in this case, what I really want to do is import that agent. So I'm going to go grab it, click open. I have to type import to sort of tell Dialogflow, hey, I want you to overwrite the agent that I have. So it'll do that. It'll bring it in. You can see it imported successfully. Okay, good. You can see that the ML models began to train. Okay, and I believe that training happens very quickly. So now you see we have tons and tons of intents, all related to coronavirus, and you can use those yourself. So I'll do something over here in our test page like, what is coronavirus? And you can see it begins to respond. So a really effective way to not only create bots and use the integrations and fulfillment and knowledge-based features to get yourself up and running really quickly, but we're also giving you some pre-built intents around Corona because we know it's of particular interest today. Okay, that was a whirlwind. I'm going to stop. I'm actually going to turn it back to Michael here for a sec. And Michael, if you don't mind, if you could sort of take us back through or take us through some stuff that we learned and need to know now, if you will.
Sure. Well, that was a great demonstration, Jack. So what you all saw there was how to build your own virtual agent. When I was talking about contact center AI before, that whole ability to contain through automated setting calls that are coming in. And Jack gave you the very basics, but you can make these very robust. Our Dialogflow can handle up to 2,000 intents. That means you can have 2,000 different paths that a customer could go down within the same virtual agent. It takes some time, it takes some expertise around conversational AI and that, but the programming is no more difficult than what Jack has already told you. So, so you should look at this and the power of it. The COVID responses that we've provided are some templates that can help you get some generic information around COVID into a virtual agent. But what Google Cloud is offering right now in this particular moment is a rapid response virtual agent program. And Jack, if you can go to the next slide. And this program is designed to help you where you've got a very high amount of contact center traffic due to the COVID-19 crisis. So, you know, long wait times, you get unavailable chat sessions, you get timeouts, crashes, all of that we're seeing happening because as you in your company work on your try to respond to the crisis, you're getting a large volume of calls and customers, citizens, users, patients trying to find out what's going on with you and your business. And there's challenges to that in terms of infrastructure that you have in place and the pace that things are changing as well as other priorities. So the program that we have is designed to help you in a very fast way. In about 2 weeks, get a basic FAQ style bot, very similar to what Jack did with Wikipedia, but get your own FAQ style bot stood up that can help you respond to COVID-19 questions coming into your organization. If you can go to the next slide. And what we do is we've got a format where for chat only, something similar to what you saw here, a way to get an FAQ style bot stood up very quickly. You can also hook it into your telephony system. So we've got some of those one-click integrations that you saw on the demo, the Google Beta Gateway, but you also saw one-click to Genesis Cloud and to Vox Implant and to SignalWire. We have more one-clicks coming, but all of these partners here have also developed very fast deployment methodologies that can be used in this crisis. So you don't need to do an upgrade. You don't need to touch your existing system. This can sit next to your current environment and start to provide that virtual agent chat and voice bot setting. Next slide. And the goal is to help you with your customer experience so that when a customer calls you, they hit the top of your phone tree. You can say, if you'd like to learn about our response to COVID-19, say yes or press 1. It will take you into that virtual agent. The responses that we program with you for you, it'll answer as much as it can. If it solves the customer's problem, great, but we have easy ways to program in that will go back into your call flow at the end of the bot's work. So that's one of those integrations that Jack was talking about. It takes a little bit of work, but we've developed very rapid ways to do that with all of our telephony partners, so that at the end it can go back into your normal call flow and continue to be handled by human agents. The hope here is that you can handle 5%, 20%, 50% of those questions coming in and have them handled by the automated virtual agent. It also helps with wait times. So those basic questions that are hitting your human agent, hopefully the virtual agent can handle many of those, the average handling time. We've seen those, double, triple, quadruple. We can keep those down and have the agent handling the really important questions that are coming in. Let the virtual agent, let the bot handle the things that are simpler. The next one. So this is available now at no charge. Google's providing Dialogflow through July 31st at no charge for chat and voice. We also have some subject matter experts available to help. And those Verily is Google's healthcare arm. So those are the healthcare intents that Jack gave you a demo of. The contact center providers, the telephony folks like Genesis, Avaya, and Cisco, they've provided some no cost, no commitment licenses, as well as no setup fees to get this connected into your telephony system. There are some carrier charges that may apply on a case-by-case basis, but generally we're trying to make this as no or low cost as possible. And then we also have some expertise, system integrators that are available and providing 2 to 3 weeks at no charge to set up that virtual agent to help you get your fax and info seats put into the virtual agent setting and then integrate it into your telephone system or onto your website. What we need from you is here on the bottom left. So we need some fax and info sheets around what you're responding to. And then we need a team from your side. We're not looking for this to be a heavy lift. We know you've got very important things that you're working on in responses. So we're going to do most of the work, but we need your help and your expertise in terms of how to get this integrated into your system, and then some references around your business policies. So that's the program we're offering now. This is available to any customer of Google, any customer of our partners. You could even be thinking about coming to Google. We're here to help in this and really make it available at low or no charge through the end of July. And if the crisis continues, we will certainly be continuing this program past that. Jack, back to you. You're on mute, Jack.
Sorry about that. There was a fire truck went by and I didn't want you guys to hear it, so I muted myself. So we will be sharing this deck, and what's important to us as a part of not only this session, but all our OK Google Tell Me How sessions is to make it usable for you and make it available immediately. So we'll send out this deck. We'll give you some more resources. During your survey, feel free to let us know that, hey, you want somebody to reach back out to you about this. That's one way we can collect a connection there with you. But if you already know who your Google Cloud sort of representative is, just ask them. They'll know how to find us and sort of get back to us. Okay.
And if I can, if you don't know who your Google Cloud representative is, feel free to contact me or Jack, and we'll help you get connected to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I have our emails at the end of this. So before we all jump off here, I wanted to take some time to see if there were any questions. I guess in this case, you can use the chat feature, or you can, kindly and patiently unmute yourself, ask your question. We'll be glad to answer it. And please don't be bashful.
Then you might need to hit *6 in order to unmute yourself.
Quiet audience today.
Hey, Jack, I don't have a question per se, but I really did enjoy the demo. It seems very intuitive, and it seems very quick to get its bot up and running, which is really, really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Jack, I was just going to suggest you roll down to you and Michael's email addresses in case somebody watches the recording of this and don't have the.
Yeah. And if there are no further questions either, I will do that. I will say there are a number of sessions coming up. Please, let us know if there's anything in your survey you'd like to see. But here are our emails available to you if you need to reach out to us at all. So any further questions on the phone? Okay. Well, with that, I will go ahead and bid everyone adieu. Stay safe, stay cool, and really appreciate everyone attending today. Thanks very much.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.